As we move into this solstice time, I just wanted to ask a few questions, really, more for myself as for anybody else, because it's so important to be asking the right question, and often the right question is all you need to ask. And okay, so the first question for me is, how am I doing every 24 hours? Do I deliberately have a 24-hour habit where I focus myself in a certain way that I want to focus myself in? Or am I kind of letting every 24 hours kind of just drift through doing, just treading water? And I would say that for my own experience of myself, and I can only speak for myself, obviously, I need to check in every 24 hours, at least, with myself and make a deliberate attempt to make sure that my feelings, my thoughts are good and are the ones that I want, are being chosen with purpose, not just, going from one thing to another without really thinking about it. I think every 24 hours you need to check in, see how you're focusing. I think every 24 hours you need to plan your next 24 hours, at least, if not more. I think we all need a sort of basic plan for life moving forward. It doesn't matter how far forward you go with your plan, but you definitely need to be really making a step-by-step guide for yourself for each day. Otherwise, you're not really going to do the things. When I say you, I mean me. I'm aware that I'm just talking to myself. But what I've really observed of myself living this planet, at this time, that I literally become what I focus on. And I think that that's true of other people as well. So I think I can say it here without too much argument. And if you're choosing to focus on something which is negative, let's say, something which is quite poisonous, if that's your focus, you will be that. It's really difficult to explain, but in some shape or form, whatever it is that you're truly focusing on, you're truly spending your time on, it will affect you, It will affect your mindset, it will affect your energy, it will affect your brain some kind of a way. And so you really need to ask yourself this question. What do I want to be? What do I focus on? And be really honest. Be really honest. What do you focus on? Especially, what do you focus on in that part of your day where you're really active? Where is your focus at that point? And then I want to ask myself and all of us, are we consumers or are we creators? And it's okay to be either, but I think it's important to be clear. And in every 24-hour period, maybe there's some time where you would like to actually be a creator rather than just a consumer. And that's I think that's an important question. It certainly is an important one for me. Are you a person who makes businesses, or are you a person who buys from businesses? Are you a person who writes books, or are you a person who buys books and then maybe reads them and maybe doesn't read them? Are you a person who scrolls through YouTube waiting for the next dopamine hit? Or are you a person who creates YouTube videos? And I think the other question I wanted to ask today was such an important question for me, particularly this year. It's been the kind of highest question of my year. And I think it's shocked me this year how crucial this is. And it is this question. How high a percentage is your self-love today? What do are you loving yourself today? Or are you only at about 10% or even less? Are you hating yourself today? Ask yourself that question. Are you putting yourself first today in your own heart, in your own mind? And I don't mean that in a selfish way. I just mean that unless you're doing it, nobody else is going to be doing it. So if you want to be a useful, loving person in this world, you need to be useful to yourself and loving to yourself first. If you want to create world peace, as they say, you have to start creating peace inside yourself first. That's where it begins. It doesn't begin anywhere else. Nothing begins anywhere else. Hatred doesn't begin anywhere else. It begins inside you. So, be careful. How present are you to yourself, or are you still chastising yourself for yesterday's perceived failures? That's a really important question, I think. Are you still looking over yesterday and annoyed about it? Are you? Or are you present to what could be happening today if you only focused? Sometimes we really get caught in a sort of drama loop, don't we? Where we just get so used to licking over wounds that we just keep doing it. And what we don't realize is that we're activating those wounds each time we do it. Is that what you want to be activating? Or do you want to activate something else? What do you want to activate inside yourself? Because you're doing it the whole time anyway, so you might as well do it positively, and you might as well do it for something that you love, or that you want, or something, a goal that you've got. Or so are you still chastising yourself for yesterday's perceived failures? Or even, are you so scared of tomorrow and what it might be? Are you waiting for the disasters of tomorrow, fearful to move forward? Are you stuck? Are you sabotaging yourself with fear? I know that when we have a goal and we're going step by step forward, I know that some of those steps are scary. Some of those steps are so scary that we stop. Are you there? Or are you ready to just quickly take that scary step and do that thing and see what's on the other side? Walk across that bridge. That's all it is, it's just a bridge. It's not going to break. And if it does, go back and mend it and walk again. My next question is, how do you greet everyone in your life? How do you greet people? How do you greet your family? How do you greet people you meet on the street? How do you greet strangers who serve you a coffee in a coffee shop? I heard somebody, I can't remember, I think it was Earl Nightingale talking, and he said that you need to be really aware of how you view other people who come into your field of vision. How do you view them? And I think it's so important to deliberately treat them as though they are the most important person at that moment in your time. Be interested in them. Be loving towards them. Be kind to them. Look at them. Use your eyes. Shine on them. Look at them with your love. Be interested in them. They are the same as you. They are the same as you. They're equal to you. When you meet the Queen, when you meet the Dalai Lama, when you meet the President, when you meet the man or the woman who cleans the street, when you meet the person who is cleaning the toilets, everybody has to go to the toilet, right? We all meet that person. How do you treat them? How do you treat that person? It's very reflective of your inner world. How do you treat that person who you meet in the park? You just walk past them. What do you do? Do you look at them and speak to them? Do you greet them? Do you greet them? Or do you not look at them on purpose and walk past them, ignoring them completely? What do you do? It says so much about your state of mind. It says so much about where your mind is at. Are you dwelling on the past? Are you dwelling on the future? Or are you here? And here is where the power is. Nothing can be done that's not done right now. You can't do something in the future. You can't do something in the past. You can only do something now. So now is the place where all the energy is. All that power is now. And how do you greet people who come into your now moment? Are you full of love for them, full of interest, full of generosity? Or do you live in a world of judgment and suspicion? Do you? Is your world somehow conspiring to trick you somehow? Do you realize that all your perceptions are self-creations, self-projections? So everything you're thinking is all about you and how you're feeling, what you've been focusing on. It's not about anything else. That's a powerful thing to know, because that gives you a chance to do something about things. And I think that's what we don't realize. We keep talking about they. Oh, they are this, that, the other. They're making it so hard for me. They're conspiring. They're making this up. They're making a trick. They're, whatever. It's rubbish, I'm afraid. It's absolute rubbish. You have to understand that they are inside you first. They are inside you. And if you keep focusing on they and how dangerous life is, and of course it will be, because you are creating it. Of course it will be. So, there's that most famous question, I think it was Einstein, I can't remember who said it. Is your world friendly or unfriendly? Is your world friendly or unfriendly? That's such an important thing to get yourself set right on, you know. I would suggest it's friendly, but if you make it unfriendly, then it will be. We have to realize that we have the power to change everything just by understanding that the only place worth focusing on is the internal place. And you must internally focus right now and drop your past, plan for your future, but don't go flying into your future yet. Stay present and get stuff done. Do what needs to be done. And be loving. Be loving deep inside that place. Love yourself. And as we move, you know, today it's Monday the 19th of December 2022. It's we're moving towards the darkest, longest night of the year. And naturally we reflect internally. So sit down with yourself and have a think. I'll speak to you tomorrow. Thank you so much for listening.